ERC, quality service since 1972. Repairing TVs, console stereos, electronic musical instruments, pinball machines, arcade games, and more. Call 836-0454.
This is the Weather Xtreme video from ABC 3340. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters with you on this Saturday, August the 2nd edition. And what a beautiful shot we see from Tuscaloosa as skies are generally clear there. Not clear at Mount Cheaha. We had an interesting shot yesterday morning, and we've got another shot this morning with some fog or low clouds. A little hard to tell completely from this picture. And then we can see a little bit of moisture in the sky, but generally clear over Demopolis as we look down the river, since the river has been the topic of discussion recently. Surface map shows a little weak boundary that is extending from central North Carolina across South Carolina, Georgia, and barely into Alabama, and that boundary probably going to be the focus for some showers, especially along into the south of that boundary. So it means that much of central Alabama likely to be dry. At 500 millibars, we can see a generally good northwesterly flow with that big ridge over there to the west of us, over the western half of the country, and the troughiness on the eastern half of the country, and lots of clouds over the southeastern U.S., and that's going to be an interesting little feature to watch if it develops at all. Looks like it'll probably be moving westward. Temperature is pretty warm across the area and across the whole eastern half of the country, or eastern two-thirds, actually, of the country. A little bit closer to home, we can see that temperatures generally in the mid-70s with, I'm sure, a few lower 70 parts. And speaking of the rain, here's radar, the regional radar this morning, composite of WSR 88Ds from the National Weather Service, and you can see a lot of that precipitation along the Gulf Coast, stretching from New Orleans all the way over towards Tampa and Cross City. So they can expect some rain with that system. Now, for us, our air quality is going to remain in the moderate category for the next couple of days. So, need to keep that in mind. Tropically, the National Hurricane Center is watching a little area with very little convection associated with it out there in the eastern Atlantic. And it could slowly show signs of tropical storm formation over the next couple of days. I don't think we're going to see a named storm, in the next couple of days, but it certainly looks like it's moving over some warmer water, and that means that we could see some slow development to that area. QPF-wise, the big focus for the southeast is in the vicinity of that upper low, and that is going to be the focus for up to 4 inches of rain, according to the HPC guys. For us, it looks like over the next few days, just the possibility of an isolated shower, so not any widespread rain. Here's the day one outlook, and they're outlooking a slight risk area from the South Carolina coast all the way up to Boston, with cities like Washington, D.C., and New York, and Baltimore, and Raleigh, Durham, and the Outer Banks, those areas. The Storm Prediction Center shifts the severe weather back to the west, into the north-central U.S., with the possibility under that low in the southeast that we might see some marginally severe storms. The slight risk, day 3, remains off to our north and northwest, and then on day 4 and 5, the main severe weather shifts across the U.S. All right, let's take a look at the 06Z GFS model run. And here is the 500 millibar pattern for today at 1 o'clock. And you can see that little low, the little trough over the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. And that's going to be responsible for showers primarily to the south of the Birmingham area. By Sunday, the little trough has moved into the northern Gulf and the little low, and it is beginning to migrate a little bit further to the west. That westward trek continues on Monday, taking the showers primarily along the Gulf Coast. And then on Tuesday, we really begin to see the 594 height bubble, contour bubble begin to move into our area, and that keeps us pretty much dry. Once again, an isolated shower for the next several days is not out of the question, but I think for the most part we'll be dry. We see the 594 begin to shrink and disappears by Wednesday. That's good, keeping the heat down, hopefully, although I still think Wednesday will be pretty warm. And then on Thursday, It's still going to be warm, but we're beginning to become a little more influenced by the troughiness once again, as a little trough comes through the flow across the north central and the western Great Lakes area. That's going to bring a front down into the Ohio River Valley, but again, for us, rain chances pretty limited, and that pattern continues into Friday. And then on Saturday, the trough begins to show signs of deepening just a little bit, and again, that front gets down well into the Ohio River Valley, but still north of us, and we might see some prefrontal stuff because of the moist air mass, but I doubt that we'll see much. And then by Sunday, a week from tomorrow, that troughiness certainly in place, and that brings the front down into the Tennessee River Valley and enhances our chances for showers. All right, let's go out into voodoo country, and here is Wednesday the 13th, and indeed, JFS pretty bullish on that trough over the eastern half of the country, and that could mean a rather wet period there. The trough remains with us, even though it's underneath a ridge at the 17th, Sunday the 17th, about 2 weeks out, and that still looks fairly wet for the southeastern U.S. Well, thanks for tuning into the to the Weather Xtreme video from ABC 3340. I should have the next one posted by around 7:30 or 8 tomorrow morning. Hope that you have a great Saturday.